Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Monday morning to you all. Hope you guys are getting up, having a great start to your day, great start to your week. A Monday kicks a lot of people's butts, but I hope you guys are feeling well this morning and getting after it. As we continue to move on through July, I'm hoping things start to speed up personally. I'm ready for summer to already be over. Sorry if that bothers you summer weather fans, but I'm certainly not a fan of this part of summer. Early summer, not that bad when it's still the growing season. Everything's still blooming, things like that. But once it starts to get to the dog days of summer, I'm just over it. I'm past it, and I'm ready for fall football season, things like that. But anyways, we're going to give you an update this morning on what potentially can unfold weather-wise for your Monday. There's a severe weather threat. Big cities like Chicago could be under the gun for some severe storms. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And there's a flooding risk across portions of the southeast with a stalled out frontal boundary that will actually have a chance to pop off some tropical activity this week. We'll briefly give an update on that towards the end of the video, and then we might discuss that a little bit further this evening and see if anything changes. If you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If you guys got anything I can pray about, pray over, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. Hit me up on social media, trying to get the 10,000 likes or follows on Facebook. I'm past that halfway point of 5,000. So definitely hit me up there if you're active on Facebook. And if you got, just want to hit me up in the DMs, got anything you need to talk about, discuss, I'm here for you. I want to remind you guys, I set up my P.O. box. It's in the community tab. I need to add it to the description under my videos. But I think it's P.O. Box 1343, Lexington, South Carolina, 29072 or 73. But anyways, check out my last community post, and it's there. But let's get rolling this morning. Water vapor loop. What's really cool here is you can actually see the boundary where the front has kind of sagged through. And here it is. You're not going to get some kind of crazy dry fall like air mass behind this. But I can tell you, even here in Columbia, South Carolina, where I'm located, it feels a little bit cooler. It's the first morning when we actually got into the 60s, and probably in the last several weeks since that weekend in between those two heat waves. I think it was one of the last weekends in June. Where it got into the 50s, or maybe the third last weekend of June. Anyways, it feels pretty nice outside in certain areas, even pretty far south. There's a little bit of dry air that's kind of made its way in. So dew points only in the 60s in certain areas, but you got a complex of storms that's ongoing. Severe thunderstorm watch warning ongoing right now with this in Iowa. So this is some pretty active weather. This will help initiate more storms maybe a little bit later on in the Ohio Valley, but its own little area of discrete potentially storms will fire up in areas of the Ohio Valley and southern Great Lakes region a little bit today. Other than that, you have something we need to watch in the northern Gulf of Mexico. If you want to update on that, check out my video from last night. Not a whole lot has changed. But in general, we're watching this area. We'll discuss this further here in the next coming days. But then that boundary here, I think we're going to have a lot of heavy rain here in southern sections of Georgia and the Panhandle of Florida a little bit later today. But Storm Prediction Center, there's that slight risk. It's pretty much the biggest topic as far as severe weather today. This includes big cities like Chicago, almost all the way to Detroit. But we're expecting some severe storms in this area today. And then this will shift actually into the northeast tomorrow. Well, there will be kind of a similar threat. Tornado threat. There's a 2% chance of tornadoes, 25 miles in any given location. That's not a lot, but you just never know. You never know when one of these are going to spin up. This little kind of mid-level trough, if you will, this piece of energy in general is helping to flatten this ridge and cool everybody down, but still down here in Texas, it's going to be awfully hot today, and we'll talk about that. Wind damage, 15% risk of damage and winds occurring at 25 miles in any given location. That is a 15% chance of around 55, 60 mile per hour winds. Hail threat, kind of the same deal. 1 inch or diameter or larger hail, there is a 15% chance in 25 miles of location of this happening. But moving on through, excessive rain outlook here. Some flooding is possible in the Great Lakes region, the Ohio Valley, but not expecting much. That marginal is at least a 5% chance of flash flood guidance being met. And then the slight is at least a 15% chance. I do think flooding is possible here. The models verified pretty well in southern South Carolina yesterday, where a lot of areas down there picked up several inches of rain yesterday afternoon and evening. And I'll tell you what, yesterday, me here in Columbia, South Carolina, I was just north of kind of the heaviest rain. and it really just felt like a fall evening out there. It was kind of drizzling, just some light rain. It was a little bit of a breeze, temperatures in the low 70s. It was still humid, but it just had that little touch of felt like fall out there, so it was really nice. Watches and warnings, I always show this because there's been so many heat advisories, excessive heat warnings out, but it's gonna be very hot in portions of Texas. Sorry, my cat got up under my legs and scared the mess out of me here. But heat advisories down here in Texas, excessive heat warnings. So it's going to be hot. The ridge is flattened out, so areas down here in Texas are going to be influenced very much so still by this ridging. Even though it's not affecting a large area, it is still affecting Texas, and it's going to continue to really bake you guys. I feel bad for you guys because you guys have had a brutal summer. You really have. Let's talk a little bit about the severe weather threat where it will be the highest today. That's Illinois, Indiana, southern Michigan, in and around the Chicago area. So moving forward here, we're getting into about mid-morning. Watch out, maybe a sail entering northern Illinois. This might sweep close to Chicago. Will it hold together? Not sure. But by the time we get to around lunchtime, 1 p.m., not a whole lot going on, but it really takes until we get to about probably the mid-afternoon hours. This is not going to be a widespread scenario. There's going to be forcing enough, but there's not going to be a massive amount of forcing with this system, as the main piece of energy is really well north of this area. But this is the area where more dynamics overlap, where you got the moisture at the surface and then a little bit of winds aloft, promoting a wind profile that is somewhat supportive for a tornado threat and some rotating storms. But we're moving on through. We're getting closer to around the 8 p.m. time frame. Watch out, Fort Wayne. I know you're thinking, well, where's all the storms? What's the big deal? Well, if you keep this moving here it is. You're getting closer to around 10, 11 p.m. Maybe a bigger storm or two, and you're entering Lafayette, Indiana, Fort Wayne. So in general, these storms could be much more widespread with this. I hadn't even looked at the NAM. It might show more of a widespread scenario, but Chicago, even down there in St. Louis, watch out. Maybe a severe storm or two, but really anybody in between Springfield up to South Bend. Even watch out Detroit, a severe storm or two is possible. But I think the tornado threat, if there's really any big tornado threat at all, which I don't think there is, will really diminish quickly once you get into the overnight hours. It just kind of congeals into more of a consolidated area of showers and storms. But in general today, just watch out. These storms won't be very widespread, but where they are, they could be quite intense in this area. They really could, and this just doesn't do a good job kind of breaking it down here. But in general, if you're in this area of the country, severe storms are possible. So it just goes to show you there's a lot of free radars out there. I was talking to a buddy of mine. I think My Radar or something. I think that's a free radar app, and it's not that bad. So check it out if you're not really wanting to spend $10. I'm really cheap also, so I don't blame you guys. I'm very cheap. But radar scope's always the best option, I think. And I don't know a lot about Radar Omega, but I've heard that that's just as good. So I don't have any preferences or anything like that. But $10 a year is not bad for a very reliable radar. But anyways, let's look at the southeast today. What could unfold? We'll take a look at the HRRR model. I think we'll get a lot of moisture down in this area. Southern Georgia, the Panhandle of Florida, a lot of tropical downpours. And, they could just be over the same area. The boundaries kind of sagging right through here. And I really think they'll kind of develop over the same areas throughout the afternoon, the evening hours. And then once it gets into, you lose that daytime. The daytime heating, things like that, the convection, the showers, they will kind of diminish and won't be a big deal. But watch down here. You're starting to get a little bit of a spin on and a lot of activity down here as we're getting into overnight tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. But rainfall, you could see a lot of it today. I'm talking, maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain here in southern Georgia. Watch out Jacksonville, Florida. You guys could get, a half inch to 1 inch of rain. I know there's this funky little cutoff here. That's just where two national weather services are kind of disagreeing with how much rain could potentially fall. But a little bit of rain in the coastal regions of South Carolina today, but not as much as yesterday, as I think the main area of energy will shift south. But a lot of rain, maybe even southern Alabama, the Panhandle of Florida. Certainly anywhere from a 1/4 inch to maybe 2 inches of rain. It just depends on who gets what and where storms form over who. Northeast today, pretty quiet. I think you'll start to see some storms firing up throughout the late evening hours as you're starting to approach Ohio. Watch out, maybe a northwest Ohio, maybe a storm or two could sneak into the region this evening. Watch out, northern Michigan. You guys could see some showers and storms a little bit later today. Especially as the sun's going down, northern Michigan can certainly see a stronger storm or two. That is definitely possible as they kind of make their way back into southeast Canada. And then by the time you get to the overnight hours, I think watch out Buffalo. I wouldn't say watch out, just some showers, maybe some heavy rain starting to enter western New York State a little bit later, and then more rain starting to enter Ohio. And this will set the stage for a severe weather threat in the Northeast tomorrow. South Central U.S., you guys need the rain. We know this, and we're just not going to get it today. Maybe some storms, maybe an isolated downpour shower, maybe an isolated storm or two could form right down here in kind of south central Texas, if you will, the southeast Texas. But other than that, you're going to be begging for it because temperatures are going to get well over 100 degrees with some humidity to kind of mix in with that. So let's hope that you guys see a little bit more rain. But let me back it up to this. Watch out. You guys have been seeing a lot of rain in southeast Louisiana. So, I don't think you'll see as much today as you've seen the last 2 days, but I do think there will still be some more downpours, and a flooding threat could arise again. So, you guys have seen just so much rain and will continue to do so probably over the next several days as this low pressure probably forms right in the Gulf of Mexico, then makes its way back inland sometime later this week. The north central U.S. Let's talk about this. Some rain it's going to continue to make its way. The HRRR model not doing the best job initiating on what's going on in Iowa right now, but I think some storms could form in northern Minnesota, and then some storms could be possible ongoing in Wisconsin later this afternoon, just after lunchtime. And I think some more widespread showers and storms will likely develop, move across Lake Superior, enter northern Michigan. So maybe a stormy evening, stormy dinner time in northern Michigan, northern Wisconsin, and areas maybe northeast of Minnesota, certainly possible. But I don't think this is going to be much of a severe weather threat with this. I think it's possible. But really, this is, you just got a general risk of thunderstorms up here. I think these storms in northern Michigan that I just showed you when I was showing the Northeast, I think they can be severe, but I think you're lacking some thermodynamics that you need for this to be really any kind of big time severe weather threat with any of these storms right in the ear. But I do think they'll put down some rain, maybe some small hail is certainly possible with some colder air aloft, most likely it being the northern portions of the U.S. The western U.S., I know I don't talk about you guys a lot, but in general, monsoon season is certainly still kicking off. A lot of rain possible in areas of the southern Rockies here in Colorado and New Mexico. So watch out for flooding down in that region. You guys could see a lot of rain very quickly. And, since you don't see a lot of rain, a half an inch of rain very quickly can do a lot of flooding in that area. The south central U.S. very hot, all the way up into Missouri. You guys are going to warm up again today. You have had a break over the last couple days, but Texas widespread upper 90s, 100s. Oklahoma just blazing. There'll be a boundary somewhere in Kansas where certain areas of the state will be in the 80s, and then in the southeast areas of the state and southern areas will be into the 90s and 100s. Arkansas, another hot day. You continue to pretty much bake alive out there. The southeast will get a break because of cloud cover, things like that. So it'll be humid, but temperatures only in the 70s and 80s with just kind of cloudy weather. I think it'll be nice in the southeast today. The northeast will warm up a good little bit today, a little bit warmer than what y'all have seen, well into the 80s for a lot of folks, 70s for higher elevations, ahead of this piece of energy that's really pulling in more warm and moist air ahead of this shortwave little trough that's moving through, that's going to promote severe weather in this area of the country. But a nice day up here in the Dakotas, Minnesota. Besides these storms you need to watch out for up in this area, but 70s, maybe some 80s. The National Hurricane Center, continues to mention this threat. There's a 30% chance within 5 days of development. I think that this is going to form. Is it going to be a named storm? I'm kind of split 50-50 on it. But just because models didn't really come together overnight to show anything that's producing any more confidence that this is going to happen, they've just kind of remained stationary. If anything, they kind of dropped. I think the euro kind of dropped. It's a really aggressive scenario and kind of went more back to, I guess you would say, a more realistic scenario. But in general, it did increase, 30% chance that this develops into maybe a tropical depression over the next 5 days, and this will happen this week though. So this will be a big topic, I think, mid to latter part of this week. So we'll continue to mention that, figure out what's going to happen. We'll watch the daytime models today and see what they think, and we'll get this figured out for you guys. But hope you guys have a great Monday, and I should be with you guys this evening. I might not, though. It's just, like I said, just taking a break with the evening videos, and it's just going to be hit or miss. But I still look to get 2 or 4 a week, but for sure. But God bless all y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Have a great Monday, and I'll talk to y'all soon.